get promotion, this is what we'll sing. We're Ipswich, here is our king. E-I-E-I-E-I-O. Up the football league we go. When we get promotion, this is what we'll sing. We're Ipswich, here is our king.
Oh, well, give yourselves a big round of applause. Oh, that was incredible. Welcome, capacity crowd, and welcome to you as well, watching on YouTube or listening on podcast. I'm Mark Murphy. Welcome to this week's edition of Life's Pitch TV. Let me tell you about our sponsors who are making the show possible for you every week. A big thank you to our main sponsor, DPS Tech. Also thanks to All About Hearing, marketing company Ginger Pickle, Forward Floors, Come Hither Design, the Hudson Group, Sound 4 Pro Audio, Venue 16, Fred Olsen Logistics, John Keeble Cars in Bramford, the Dove in Ipswich, plus Ashford Wright. And the sofa is sponsored by DPS Tech as well. Let me introduce you to the team. Terry Butcher's here. Hey! Russell Osman's there. Hey! And from twtd.co.uk over there at Beatty's Bar, it's Phil Ham. Hey! We have Mark and we have John and we have Richard on technicals tonight, and we have a fantastic capacity crowd who are amazing. And we've got sausage rolls tonight, Butch.
Well, we had sausage rolls, but
yeah, they've all gone, haven't they?
I think you've eaten most of them, haven't you?
Get rid of the crumbs. Crumbs. Telltale sign.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
So we're well fed and watered, and we're in for a great show tonight. And what a time to be an Ipswich Town supporter at the moment, isn't it? Fantastic.
Well, you look back to the first episode of Life's a Pitch TV, and Connor Chaplin sat there. Who'd have thought we'd be in this position now? We really didn't. You know, everybody would have wished for that, but didn't really hope for it. I mean, apart from yourself, of course. Where you
I
said
did
top
predict
two?
top two, yeah.
Can
A
you
few
do the
people have come
lottery?
out and reminded me of that this
Can
week.
you do the lottery at all every night? No.
I've done. Butch, if you knew how much I did that.
Incredible.
But I'm very happy for that prediction if it comes right on Saturday, which fingers crossed it will. Now, we need a special guest, and we have someone who is very, very special to Ipswich Town. He is all the way from Tenerife. It is Super Cooper, Paul Cooper!
Hi, guys.
One Paul Cooper. There's only one Paul Cooper. One Paul Cooper. There's only one Paul Cooper. One Paul Cooper. There's only one Paul Cooper.
Brilliant. And Coops,
you.
we've got a special treat for you. Unfortunately, we can't throw them to you because you're in Tenerife, but we can throw them at Butcher and Osman over here. It's chewing gum. Hey.
I caught the green one. That's a nightmare. Get out of it.
Dropped it a bit short.
That must bring back some memories then, Coops, having chewing gum thrown at you.
Yeah, it does. It was funny how it started. I mean, I had a problem with getting dry throat and everything, shouting on the back four because I always needed keeping in control.
I know that feeling.
Yeah. Get the throat sorted, and the doctor said, "Well, you should. The best thing to do is chew during the game." So that's how it started, and people watched me go and get some chewing gum out the bag, and then churchmen started raining down with it. But in the end, I used to, every week afterwards, give it to charity, to the charity home. But it was a nice gesture.
Well, it just showed how much they loved you, didn't it, really? And, to have that crowd behind you in goal in those days, and likewise now for Haladki, it's fantastic to be in front of a home crowd when things are going so well, which you did for so often in your time.
Exactly. I mean, I've had worse things thrown at me as well, but never mind.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
And what's it like seeing these two boys on the giant sofa then, Coops?
Yeah, they look, they still look in good condition. Nice to see them, and generally you normally get together in Portugal for the Bobby Robson Classic. I think is it this year, June the 8th or something?
Yeah, I think it's that weekend, yeah.
Yeah,
7th,
so
8th.
obviously see them then.
I'm looking forward to it, mate. It's your round.
Yeah, it normally is.
And actually, what's it like seeing them front on? Because normally you would have just in their backsides, wouldn't you? And the back of their hair.
Yeah, I didn't see much of the backsides because half the time they were on them.
Yeah, it's all about timing, Coop. All about timing, yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just saying we slipped
Russell-
a few goals past him, though, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We buried a few.
Yeah.
Oh, you've hit a couple of blinders.
Yeah.
But Russell was my understudy, so I couldn't give him too much stick. If ever I got injured in a game, Russell would pop in with the gloves.
That's it. Clean sheet for 40 minutes against West Brom.
I think that deserves a round of applause.
Yeah,
that,
I mean, excellent.
Well done, Russ.
The days of only one sub. So when Coop decided that he couldn't
He'd had
carry
enough,
on
yeah.
5 minutes into the second half, he just waltzed off and threw me a pair of goalkeeper's gloves in the shirt, and that was it. I took my first goal kick and
you
snap
looked the
hooked
part
it.
as well, Russell. Got to say, you didn't really look the part.
Listen, I had absolutely nothing to do for 40 minutes. It's an easy job, that.
Well, what? You were. I had nothing to do for about 5 years.
I told you he could have saved that shot of mine that day.
Yeah.
That clearance.
No.
Happy days. We're going to talk a lot about that, Coops, in a moment or two, but we've got to focus in on how Town are doing at the moment. It's time to look at the season so far, sponsored by the Dove in Ipswich. And who was at Coventry this week? Shout, because putting your hands up doesn't work on podcasts. There we go. So
They can't
you were there.
anymore. They can't shout.
Worn out.
Yep.
We've got one more match to go, hopefully, just the one more. So we've got to shout and shout loads on Saturday. But we were talking about this, Butch, on the way. They didn't want to roll over Coventry, did they?
No, they gave it a bit of a go. I thought they looked tired, and obviously with the injury situation, but I thought Town were always in control of the game. It's a little spell after they scored the first goal, but I thought it was a very merited victory. And once again, like last season, going to Barnsley and winning a very crucial game late on. This was a very crucial game, and the way that they did it, I thought was very professional. I just thought there were more goals. They should have had more goals. I think Coventry were trying to give goals away. We just couldn't take them, but in the end, 2-1's it's just lovely, and they're in a great position. And I can see no reason whatsoever why they can't beat Huddersfield 6-0 on Saturday, just like Exeter last year. I really can. I don't know if Huddersfield are going to turn up, to be honest. So we'll see.
Well, I think they're going to, according to their manager, they're going to mix the team up a bit, Phil, aren't they? And
he says he's going to make changes. Yeah, he says he's not. We've got to remain professional, but make changes. But he's also sort of said some harsh things about his squad, and some players don't particularly care. He doesn't think, and some were more upset by their relegation than others last weekend. And also, he kind of. I'll come to it later. But
So the manager's just been honest, has he?
I think he's pointing fingers elsewhere where he can. I mean, he is their third manager this season, so it's one of those years where nothing has really gone right for them from the start. And Neil Warnock was the manager to start with, wasn't he? And then Darren Moore, and then the current manager. So, yeah, it's if you were to pick the ideal team to play on the final day of the season, you look down that division, they'd probably be the team to pick, I think. And so, yeah, it is kind of there for the taking, very much, isn't it?
what did you make of the match, Ross?
I enjoyed it. Got off to a decent start. Formation and his selection looked solid at the back, which is always something that we look for, isn't it? Can we keep a clean sheet? No, we didn't. But we were good enough on the night to get the couple of goals and not concede. I mean, when we scored 3 away from home against Hull and take the lead 3 times, you think, crikey, you've got to come away with 3 points then. You can't go 1 up, 2-1 up.
And then having chances also at 3-3, didn't we, as well?
Yeah, but you score 3 away from home, take the lead 3 times, you've got to hold on to games like
What do you
that.
think about Big George playing instead of Wolfie? Is Wolfie not injured?
No. I think it was a tactical thing. I think Kieran kind of picks George in. I think when they've got sort of quicker strikers, I think he usually puts George in to sort of chase them. And that's what he did on Tuesday. It worked out.
Quicker strikers. Okay.
It was very nervy, though, wasn't it? It really was a nervy game to watch. And there was one Town fan that summed it up for all of us, I think. Just have a look at this.
Yeah.
I think we were, whether we were there or whether we were at home watching, we were all that fan.
I think he's just got wind, hasn't he?
Or wind of something.
Well, we needed to go somewhere. I thought. We especially did after that. Yeah,
It was right.
But
Coops, did you get a chance to watch the match?
Yes, I did. I thought they did very well. I mean, there was a couple of errors in the defence for the goals, but it's getting to the sharp end now, and players are going to make mistakes. And listening to what you're saying there about Huddersfield, that they're there for the taking. Butch says 6-0, but they've got they've got nothing to lose. Some of them might be playing for contracts elsewhere, and the last day of the season always throws up terrible shocks. And I'm just hoping to God that it doesn't happen to us.
We need an early goal. If we get an early goal, settle everything down.
There was one word you mentioned before we went on air today, and that was Maidstone, wasn't it? So
I didn't mention that. No.
Still wary, be very professional, and there's a job to do, isn't there?
Yeah, it is.
100%.
Attitude.
I think that's it. I mean, the Exeter game last season, we got an early goal, and it just set everything going, didn't it?
Yeah.
And I think that Huddersfield, if we do get a goal, and if we get two, then I think that will be.
If we get an early goal, Huddersfield will just roll over.
Exactly. I think that, and I don't think they'll show the same kind of energy that Coventry did. Coventry seemed quite determined, didn't they? I thought they played quite well actually for their situation.
Well, they are. I mean, they are all season. They've had a pretty good season.
Yeah.
Didn't make the playoffs, but you sort of think, well, they are going to stick together. They know what it takes to get good results. So they are a very professional side.
Their last home game as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So you always want to go
But
out
if we
on
get
a good note.
an early goal, as you say, it's going to be 6-0, surely.
And Huddersfield have got a poor away record anyway.
They've
home
only
record.
won 1 in 9, the last 9 anyway.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
They're there for the taking.
And they'll be keen to let Leeds United fight it off in the playoffs rather than go up automatically.
Well, this is it. This was even asked in their managers' press conference today. Kind of the fans are not actually that bothered about Huddersfield winning because they don't want Leeds to go up, do they? So then he said, we'll have to act professional.
Isn't there something I read somewhere today? It's dodgy reading stuff on the internet, especially where I go.
The black
But
internet.
someone said there are 9 permutations for Saturday, and 8 of them would see us go up. Is that right?
I've absolutely no idea.
Okay. Anybody else read that, or was it just me going in that corner of the web? Yeah, thank you. There are 2 of us that go in that bit of the web.
Permutations. I mean, basically, we win or we draw, we're up, aren't we? That's it, really.
Yeah.
Was that on a Geek's website or something like
I
that?
can't remember where I read it now.
Oh, right.
I suppose the
I
other
think it was
permutation.
TWCD probably.
Oh,
The
yeah.
other permutations, I suppose, are if Leeds don't win or draw. So so it kind of
Ah, see, now you're coming around
It's
to my way of
basically
thinking.
I'm counting them up as we go along. No, I mean actually, if that is the other alternative we haven't kind of looked at is how well Leeds will do against Southampton, because that we've looked at all season as being a kind of crunch game. Well, actually, it could have nothing on it at all, and we don't have a whole lot of faith in Southampton, do we, Russell?
That's charming, Phil.
You're the Southampton expert.
Southampton expert. No, listen, they've still got a good game in them, Southampton.
And hopefully it's Saturday.
Hopefully it's Saturday.
Yeah, or
Listen,
if they
we've
play
just got
Norwich.
to do our own job.
Yeah.
Forget anything else.
Yeah.
You know.
How
all
confident
we've
are
got
we?
to do.
Capacity crowd? Yes. Fantastic.
And that's how Kieran will look at it. Kieran will.
Yeah.
It will just be, and the players.
It's in your own hands.
Yeah, and he said this after the game that they one of the journalists asked him in the press conference, when do you start turning your mind to Huddersfield? He said, well, actually, we've already been speaking about it in the dressing room already. And he said that wasn't just me, that was the players. So quickly the minds focused on that job in hand, and I think the experience of last year will help them.
Yeah, because they do. I mean, mentally, they look very strong, and having done it last year, okay, at a lower level, to be in a position now, their run, the record, where they've come from this season has been unbelievable. I mean, if they win on Saturday, it'll be like 96 points. So that would mean it's like 2 points per game, which is incredible. That's promotion material, obviously. And it's like 6 out of the last 10 seasons, 96 points would have won the title.
Yeah.
So it just shows you how competitive it's been in the Championship, but how Town have they've had the disappointments, only 6 losses, which is the best in the league. But they've come through mentally very strong. They're a much stronger unit than 2 years ago, much stronger. So that's to be admired. Really
And what
is.
was lovely was at the end, I don't know if you saw it on the TV coverage, Kieran McKenna just standing there, just looking at the crowd going absolutely wild, and there he was, just soaking it all up, just taking it all in, because you've got to do that, haven't you? You've got to enjoy those moments.
Yeah, you do, don't you? It's really nice, and you remember those for the rest of your life. You might not have too many moments like that, but the ones that you do have, you cherish, and you look back on, and it gives you an infinite amount of pleasure, and he must take great pleasure. And he's the leader. He's told the team how to play, and they play in a system that's very attractive. You have to say that for me, I have to say that they're the best team in the league in terms of the football quality. Leeds have beaten us twice, but they're good, but they blow hot and cold. So on a consistent basis, they're by far the best team. And Leicester, well, it's like Suicide Squad at the back. They don't know what they're going to do with the ball, do they? No one knows what they're going to do with the ball.
But congratulations to Leicester.
Absolutely. One of your old teams, of course, yeah.
And Coops.
And
Coop
Coops as
played
well,
there.
yeah.
Coop
Yeah.
came along
Yeah.
to Leicester.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you suddenly turned up one
Yeah.
day and didn't know he was coming to the club at all. And Brian Hamilton brought you on board, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember your words that when I first arrived in the dressing room.
Yeah, no swearing.
What are you doing here?
I thought, listen, one of us can make a mistake, not both of us.
Coops, what would it mean? Obviously, we've got a job to do on Saturday still, but what would it mean to see Town back in the top flight for you again?
I think it's a tremendous achievement, and I think the fans thoroughly deserve it in the area. And Kieran's done a fantastic job. My daughter used to work at Man United, and she flagged him up to me and said he's a future manager. And that may be the biggest problem now, is he's already been linked with the West Ham job. He's keeping on to him and make sure he stays. Hopefully he will.
That's been talked about, Phil, at press conferences, hasn't it?
The link with Crystal Palace was the one that was spoken about a few weeks ago when the manager there, Roy Hodgson, was sort of just about to move on. And I think there were talks, but he obviously decided at that point he wanted to stay here. Today, the story is Brighton will be interested in the summer.
But we're going to get this week in, week out with the likes of Leif Davis and people and Kieran and anybody that's successful, from a so-called small club are going to be looked at by the so-called big clubs. But I think we're a big club, don't you? Yeah. And I think
we are.
When we go up, we'll rock the Premier League as well.
We may well
top 5. I'm going for.
But the only thing is, I think if someone like Brighton are
One of my old teams.
another one of your old teams,
A few.
they're probably a few steps along ahead of us at the moment. They've been in the Premier League. They're established in the Premier League for a number of years. So there would be attractions there. But, there are attractions at Town. And Kieran has built this team over a number of years, and he may well feel that he wants to stay. But, I think it may be an interesting summer, but we'll see. I think there probably will be serious interest in people like Leif Davis as well.
Coops, let's talk about you, because you're our penultimate guest of the season. We've got Jim Magilton next week, everybody. Oh, actually, no, it's not penultimate, because the following week is our end-of-season dinner. Can I say who the special guest is? It's confirmed now, isn't it?
I think so.
Alan Brazil.
Did do earlier.
So, Jim Magilton next week.
Well, just
Alan Brazil at the
Just make
end
sure
of
we've got
season
plenty
dinner.
of white wine then when Alan comes in.
Free bar.
Yeah, for him it would be free bar. Yeah.
And Coops, it's great to have you. I mean, we've had some great players on with the show this season, but to have you here towards the end of the season, looking back and reflecting on what's happened for Ipswich Town has been tremendous. But what brought you to Town in the first place? How did you end up here?
I was at Birmingham City from an apprentice there, and I sort of broke into the first team there at 18 years of age, and we got promotion from the old second division to the first division, which is the Premiership, and we didn't start off very well. So I basically, being 18 years of age, they, took me out the side and everything, and then I got an offer. Or the manager said, "There's Ipswich have come in for you, Bobby Robson's, interested in signing you for a month's loan." So I came down to Ipswich from Birmingham. It took me about 7 hours in those days because the roads were not the best, and there was moving haystacks everywhere down the A12.
Roads are still the same.
Yeah, and got there and really enjoyed it. Did quite well, and then Mr. Robson said, "Oh, we're going to, we've offered money for them, and we're going to sign you." So that was it then, and that's how it started, and went down there and got a great squad of lads together, and eventually got in the team. that was it. From then on, we just got better and better as a side, and we got some good players. And in my day, I think we had two teams. We had the '78 Cup final side, and then we had the '81 UEFA side, which, there was about 4 or 5 or 6 players playing in the FA Cup, and then they carried on to the UEFA Cup. But we've got the youngsters come through, like obviously Russell and Butch. Didn't play in the FA Cup final, but they were in the UEFA side, and we had some very good years. Some major disappointments. Obviously, the major disappointment for me, and still is, and it still rankles, that in '81 we lost the league to Aston Villa, and we beat them 3 times that year. That was a big one to take. So yeah, it was a great time, and as I said, we had some good lads, and it was like a side where you occasionally we only bought 1 or 2 players a year maximum, whereas, as Russell was saying earlier, you went to Leicester and it was like a railway station. There's so many players coming and going. It was crazy.
All aboard.
I mean, Mr. Robson really picked his players, didn't he? Obviously did a lot of research into who he wanted in. I mean, we talk now about the research that is done in, attracting a player now, but he must have been doing similar to that in
I think
those
what
days.
Sir Bobby did, he saw that Gatesy liked the horse racing, Brazil liked the horse racing, so he needed a goalkeeper to keep an eye on him. So you liked the horse racing, Coop, didn't you?
Yeah, we had many a good time at Newmarket.
Yeah.
We had many a bad time as well, by the way. Couldn't afford petrol to get home.
What was it like with Beattie and Hunter in front of you? Tell us about those two.
Beattie and Hunter, they were different to Russell and Butch, obviously. Big Al was a bit old-fashioned, and Beattie was just an enigma. He didn't know how he did it, or nobody knew how he did it, because I can remember one game at Port Road. He went in for a tackle on the halfway line, missed it completely with a guy, got up and caught him before the guy got to the 18-yard box. He was that quick and strong, but he was a great lad to have around the dressing room.
Yeah, he was a bit of a clown in the dressing room, wasn't he?
They used to room together, and you did sometimes you have to get some things signed and everything. So you go around all the players' rooms, and you get to Hunter and Beattie's room, and you knock on the door. You go in, it was pitch black, and all you could see was 2 little red dots of the fags they were smoking. Honestly, it was crazy, but good fun.
Yeah, and the run up to the '78 FA Cup final, you'd come close. All of a sudden, you're in the semi-final. You get to the final. What was that feeling like when you finally realised that you were going to Wembley after all those times of trying?
It was, yeah. I mean, I remember sitting in the dressing room at Highbury and after the semi-final, and you just think, they can't take it away from you now. You're going to Wembley, and it was a massive thing in those days. It's not so big these days because you've got the European scene, and a lot of teams really, even the Milk Cup in our day, wherever it was, you still played your full side, but with the squads they've got now, they do tend to rotate. But it was a real good achievement, and I think the club had a great day out at Wembley as well, and I don't think it ever happens like it did then. So it was the right time to do it.
You missed the week beforehand at Aston Villa. You missed the game, didn't you? Was there any doubt that you were going to play?
No, I just. I think it was a bit of a rebellion because Mr. Robson said he was leaving Roger Osborne out. And me and Paul Maron were having fitness tests, and we looked at each other and went, "No, I'm not quite ready." Mara said the same, "I'm not quite ready." And then we got beat. And
thanks, Coop. I had to play in that game.
Did you? Yeah. You weren't in goal, though, were you?
Paul Overton made his debut.
That's right, yeah.
He had a blinder. We only lost about 4, didn't we? 6.
5-1. I think it was 5-1 or 6-1, wasn't it?
6.
But anyway,
it was 4.
Listen. I was just worried my back might go again. So
yeah, strange goings on. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. I didn't miss many games, but it was a great day, great achievement. I mean, everybody thought Arsenal were, favourites and were going to walk it. But it was a great day out for all the fans, and coming back up the A12 all that way, it was just blue and white. Yeah, it's a good club, and I'm so pleased that hopefully they can get back up. But again, I'll just say a word of warning: there's some stupid things happen on the last day of the season, and let's not get too carried away yet.
Very wise.
Very true.
Point.
Yep.
So
Very
the
wise
final
words.
itself, from your perspective, was a relatively quiet game. Can you remember any saves? I think you made one save from Malcolm McDonald, didn't you?
It was corners and a few free kicks, and I think Alan Sunderland got through at one stage where I went out and done that. But it was a quiet game. We played well, and that was the last time that team played together because of injuries and things. And that's when Brian Talbot left and went to Arsenal, and we brought the two Dutch boys in. Great bit of business by the boss, Bobby, because I think he got the two Dutch boys for 200 and sold Brian for about 450.
Yeah. We struggled in the Charter Shield, didn't we, against Forest?
Yeah,
The following
that wasn't a
season,
good one, was it?
injuries and stuff like that. We got turned over big style.
We had a lot of injuries again, because I remember when I think back, Robin Turner played, was it, and Tommy Parkin.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys never really got that close to playing in normal circumstances. So yeah, but I think it gave us a kick up the backside, and we didn't start too bad after that.
Yeah.
But and then obviously I think it gave the boss the impetus to let's change the squad. But you two became regulars, and obviously Alan was getting old, and Beat was getting injury problems. So it was two teams, as I always say.
Yeah.
So did it
And if
change?
you
So we talk a lot about goalkeepers and their roles these days, how they're the passing out from the back. Ipswich obviously changed the approach from those two teams you talk about. Did you find yourself passing out more from the back under when the Dutchman came in?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a done thing, really. Because basically, I can't remember what dates it were when he went through the 4-step rule, and there was all these different rules. But I don't think we played that much from the back. The only thing I can remember is, I had a thing with George Burley. If ever a cross came across and I caught it, I knew George was on his way.
Yeah.
And I just threw it there, and we were on the attack.
It was up, but Bobby always wanted, or the two Bobbies at that stage, they always wanted the fullbacks to be the ones that dictated the game. So it wasn't the centre-back split, it was the fullbacks went high and wide, and then they got the early balls out to the fullbacks because they could see the whole pitch. That was the essence of how we would sort of start, either that or smash it long to Maras. Yeah. That was the one, smash it long, pick the pieces up.
Yeah. I mean, all due respects, I think there's Bobby Ferguson. You say, well, you're the two hard carriers, you two. As you're the workhorses in the middle of the defence, and that's it. Just stay there and don't get moving too far.
Yeah, well, I always remember having to take some goal kicks sometimes. You had a little bit of a tweak for your thigh, so I had to take the bloody goal kicks, and I'm like taking the goal kick, smashing it long, and then having to sprint 20, 30 yards to catch up with Russell. I was knackered at the end of the game. I was like, wow, thanks, Coop. But
you were good at goal kicks, so.
Oh, well, thank you. Well,
Yeah.
I got a bit tired, to be honest.
I used to stand behind you laughing when you were running.
I could hear you. Don't worry about that.
And then, of course, the UEFA Cup run was stupendous. Another star on our shirt that you earned. What are your memories of that run then, Coops?
I remember that nearly every round we played a good side, and we didn't have an easy passage to it. And, we had the result at home because it was a two-legged final there, wasn't it? And then we went over to there, and we thought, I think half the players and everybody thought it's going to be hard to lose this. But then we had a bit of a spell where we thought, hang on a minute, they're getting back into this. They scored a couple of goals, and it was baking hot. And a few of us had got stuck in the lift in the hotel. The manager was one of them. And all the preparations for that actual return game didn't go right at all, but we got through it. And I just remember looking around at everybody after the game, and everybody was knackered because it was a long season.
Very long season. It's a good job.
Yeah.
Good job we got the fourth goal early on. But I think
Yeah.
that played against us a little bit, because then they just threw caution to the wind completely and played.
Exactly.
What was it? You know, 5 up
4-2-4,
front.
wouldn't it? Yeah, something like that.
So,
5-4, nothing in the back.
Coots, were you one of the guys that Saint Etienne away? Were you one of the guys that went to the bar and had a few drinks, and Bobby Robson was going to fine you 2 weeks' wages? Were you part of that group?
No, I went looking for them to tell them to come home. But they wouldn't let me. They locked me in. So I thought, okay, yeah. I can remember the manager said he got us all together. There's 4 of us, and he said, "I'm fining you £1,000," and we all went, "Shh." And he went, "Between you," and we all went, "Oh." And I remember Paul Mariner get his wallet out and said, "Hey, well, here's my 250."
Fancy getting
Good
caught.
Yeah, good fun.
Yeah, but that was part of the comradeship between you and the rest of the team, wasn't it? All of you, you know, you were young lads, you wanted to go out and have a good time as well, and it clearly didn't impact on your footballing performance, did it, that season?
No, not at all.
No. You know, I mean, it's a different cultures today because, you know, it's squad players, and you know they travel the world all season. You know, they get a 10-day break and they're off to the Far East or something. Ours was predictable. You know, the FA Cup started the beginning of January, the league ended in sort of beginning of May. The FA Cup final was halfway through, and that was it. It was set in stone. But this day and age now, even when they play the World Cup, they played that in Qatar, and that you know was in the winter. So it's never a pattern where you can see now with football. I mean, there's so many times you look at the league and you say, well, they're three or 4 games behind, you know. But you know, like Man City. I mean, what a great side they are. I just think another one of my old clubs, by the way, and they play fantastic football. But the players, they must be super fit and mentally fit as well.
One thing, of course, we must mention is your record on penalties as well. You had a huge reputation for saving the penalties.
Yeah, that was a training ground thing. We were normally at the end of training, not every day, but most days. I'd be in goal and they'd say, right, you got to take a penalty and score before you can go and get a shower. And if you didn't score, you had to wait again to get. So I was just messing about. And I watched films of the old keepers, and they used to lean to the left-hand side and then dive to the right. So I was messing about. So I thought, right, I'll lean to my left-hand side and dive that way, opposite. And it worked a few times in training. So we played somebody, and we were, I think it was Coventry, and we were 2 or 3-0 up, and they got a penalty in the last minute. I thought, well, I'll try it, and it worked. And then again, because the cameras weren't there, like the saturation of cameras now, you only got 3 games on Match of the Day. People didn't really pick it up like they would do on those programs now. And then Coventry at home, I think it was, or it could have been Derby. I think it was Derby. I saved two in one game, and then then the papers would come in and saying, you know, the penalty king, but that's all it was really. And you know what? There's no pressure on you when you're facing a penalty because everybody expects the guy to score.
Did you do any research and from what TV coverage there was on the top players, which way they put the penalties?
I always asked Charlie Woods, because he got the reports off, you know, people who used to go and watch them the week before or whatever, and if there was a penalty, I said, which way did it go, Charlie? Because then again, the penalty taker doesn't have saturation coverage on the, you know, on in those days on every game. So yeah, a bit. But again, Butch, it was confidence. You just thought, you know.
Paul, so if you were so good at saving penalties, why couldn't you save a back pass from me or Terry?
You used
I
to
just
put
can't
a
understand
unique-
it.
You used to put a unique spin on the ball, Russell. Just couldn't read it. It was like the googly in cricket.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
It wasn't the case he saved so many penalties because there were so many given away by the centre halves.
Well, yeah, that was another thing issue that was
Good
cropping
point.
up. They were just upending people and think, oh, Coops will save it.
Yeah,
But
plenty of practice.
yeah.
So who would
kick.
win? Because obviously at the other end of the field we've got John Walk banging penalties for. Like there's no. Well, he scored. Was it 3 out of his 4 goals at Salonika were penalties, weren't they? Who used to win when Walkie was taking penalties against you?
I never really. We never really practiced that together. I mean, he'd take one if they got to get in for a show, you got to score a penalty. But no, but he was good, Walkie. I mean, I think was it AZ Alkmaar at home where he scored 3 again, and there was a couple of penalties in that, and the keeper never, took his cartridges out. He just didn't know what he was doing.
He's cool, wasn't he?
Walkie.
Yeah, very
But
cool.
Russell, I remember another game at Birmingham where we won 3-1, and I'm in goal, and obviously you can see the whole pitch. I'm thinking, Walkie's not had a kick, and he scored 2 goals, and we won 3-1, and he just used to arrive in the box, and all I remember is his hands behind his back and just heading balls in from about 7 yards out. Yeah. He had a unique talent for doing that.
He was like that most weeks, wasn't he? Didn't have a kick and scored a couple of goals,
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And then, can you remember them? Bobby Ferguson, the manager, I don't know whether he was still there or he said, Walkie, I want you to more than score 26, 27 goals a season. He said, I want you to get the ball and play. And we're just saying, leave him, it's fine. Carry on doing what he's doing.
Yeah, we'll take the goals, won't we?
Yeah.
We had your goalkeeping chum Laurie Civil on the show a few weeks ago, little Laurie, and we've talked a lot this season also about escape to victory, and you were part of that as well, then Coops, weren't you?
Yeah, enjoyed that. That was in Budapest. Originally it was touted that Kevin Beattie was understudy for Michael Caine, and I was for Stallone, and all the other players played, but Stallone was basically the character he played he couldn't play in goal because he was American and he didn't know what to do. So it was very hard for me to coach him to be crap. I had a go.
You did a very good job.
Yeah. But and obviously Russell was there as well. But it was a good time. It was something different, and it was interesting. A lot of hanging about, wasn't there, Russell?
Yeah.
Moving the crowd round, and but it was again mixing with different people, and it was a very, very good experience.
It was amazing that we had 2 left-footed goalkeepers when you think about it. But they had good left feet, but it wasn't so much about the passing; it was more about the shot stopping. But Coop, you look at the modern game now. We had a quick chat before the show about you being comfortable, because I remember you playing centre forward in little 5-a-side games and all that sort of thing. You sort of fancied yourself as an outfield player.
Well, when I was 16, I was playing for Shrewsbury Reserves as a striker. So and then I basically I was playing keeper and striker and didn't really know which was best. Whichever one came along. And then an amateur side called Sutton Coldfield took me on, and I was playing for them at 16 and got reviews, and then I went to Birmingham. That's how my career in professional started. But I used to love playing out. It was different because you're limited in goal because there's only so far you can go. It's like a dog on a chain, isn't it? There's only so far you can move.
Yeah, I could just see you though sweeping behind me and Terry and coming out and playing little 1-2s and big diagonal balls out to Wes Burns and stuff like that. Yeah, be right up your street.
Yeah, it's good. Good days.
Yeah.
Well, they were fantastic times, weren't they?
And we're still here to remember them as well.
What was it like, just finally for now, Coops, we'll come back to talk to you again in a moment or two, but what was it like having these 2 in front of you when you were playing?
Well, I don't think you could get better. than the two I played behind. And obviously it made me look good as well, so that's even better. But the one thing I remember vividly about Russell, and it was something I looked and I thought, I wish I could do that. He put the ball down and he's taking a free kick to knock it forward, and he goes stands as if he's going to hit it with his left foot, and all of a sudden he changed his mind and go and hit it with his right foot. It didn't matter what foot he used, and invariably we're all one-footed. We, just better with one foot than the other one.
Totally confused myself though, Coop, most of the time.
Yeah. That wasn't all though, Russ.
Thank you.
We'll come back and talk some more in a minute, but for the moment, Paul Cooper, everybody! Just a reminder, next week's show, Jim Magilton is our special guest, and then our end-of-season dinner is on Monday, the 13th of May. That's at Venue 16 in the Willow Suite. Tickets are really flying out there. 25 quid a head, aren't they? And it's a hot buffet, and special guest Alan Brazil, and we'll be inviting back lots of people who've been on the show during the course of the year. So we'll have some awards to hand out as well, so it's going to be a really fun night. So if you want to come along and celebrate with us the end of the season, then go to Life's a Pitch. Lifesapitch.tv. That's the website. www.lifesapitch.tv. That's the website, and all the details are on there.
Another chance to celebrate promotion.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. Yep. Talking of celebrating, time now for this week's Keep It Up Challenge, sponsored by Ginger Pickle. Now, clearly, Paul Cooper is in Tenerife, and we've got a capacity crowd here. And they're always looking and shuffling and looking down at their feet. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
They were really exuberant earlier on, but now does anybody fancy giving it a go? That'll be a no then. So moving on. And Joe Sheehan's still over 100, so I suspect with only Jim Magilton on screen next week, he's going to win our award for the Keep It Up Challenge, I would imagine, wouldn't you?
You never know.
You fancy giving it another go then, Butch? No, okay.
It won't come from me, I'll tell you.
Just thought I'd ask.
What about Alan Brazil? Would he do it, do you think?
Well, he could do, couldn't he? Yeah. There's a chance.
Yeah. If there's a bottle of Chablis, you'd keep it up for about 200.
So book your tickets for that. We'd love to see you. Also this weekend, we've had a note through from Charlie Nixon, and Charlie's involved in the collecting of the food and donations for food banks at Portman Road. He tells me so far this season, the town fans have raised £8,231.92, which is amazing to go to find. And they're going to be there at Portman Road on Saturday, and he's looking to smash the £10,000 barrier. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. And also one of our chosen charities this year, Cancer Support Suffolk, will be doing a bucket collection outside the ground on Saturday, raising money to support cancer patients in Suffolk. So if you're there, pop some money into those buckets as well. Let's have a little look and see what's happening town news-wise, Phil. Brought to you in association with John Keeble Cars of Bramford.
Yeah, well, we've already alluded to Huddersfield head coach Andre Breitenreiter. He says there'll be changes to his all but relegated Terriers side when they visit Portman Road Saturday. Second bottom West Yorkshire side can still finish level on points with Plymouth in 21st, but would require a goal difference of around a turnaround of 15 to remain a championship club next season. So that ain't going to happen. Brighton right now, Huddersfield's third boss this season, following Neil Warnock and Darren Moore, was very critical of his players following the draw at Birmingham last week, questioning commitment and work ethics shown by some in his dressing room, feeling that there were those who were more disappointed than others regarding the club's relegation, and revealing some left early, as they did every day. Doesn't sound a happy camp. He was also critical of the pre-season programme during Warnock's time in charge, in which the team trained once per day and the focus was on playing golf and maybe staying in the pub. Does that sound familiar to anyone else?
Yeah, it sounds very good to me. Yeah, excellent.
Sounds like he's got that right.
It was a great formula for us anyway. Fantastic.
Well, it hasn't worked quite so well for them.
Plenty enough golf then.
Yeah, I reckon you're probably right.
That was the Paul Cook way, wasn't it?
May well have been. Anyway, so he says that conversations regarding the future of the squad and also whether he remains in charge will take place next week. And he said, you can be sure that we will just take the players to travel with us to Ipswich who we think are right, because some players are on loan and some players are thinking maybe in their heads that they've left the club. We want to give the players a chance who every time have given their best in training. maybe it's time for them to get a chance, but not so many changes because we have to be professional because it's a massive game. So I think we get an idea that there are one or two he doesn't really like, and he's probably going to leave them out, and one or two others
I think that's a certainty, yeah.
I think that's it. He's already said he's going to change the goalkeeper. Chris Maxwell will come into the team for Lee Nichols. Chris Maxwell hasn't played since December, and Town fans may remember was sent off while playing for Preston at Portman Road in Paul Lambert's first game as Town boss. So hopefully the same will happen again. Leif Davis is one away from equalling the Championship assist record achieved by Fulham's Harry Wilson in 2021-22. Davis now has 18 for the season, already a new record at this level for a defender, with Wilson having grabbed 19 in a campaign in which the Cottagers won the division. A new record will be well deserved by the left-back, who has been one of Town's star performers this season, and he may well be the next Blues player to follow in the illustrious footsteps of the two gentlemen to my right and win England caps next season, should Town confirm promotion on Saturday. Perhaps next England international, would you say, most likely, of those in the squad?
Well, not yet, but you look at the left-back situation for England.
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
There's definite openings there.
Next season, yeah. Saturday, big day for Town, but also a big day for Cliftonville, where Blues legend and next week's Live to Pitch TV star guest Jim Magilton is manager. The Reds play Linfield at Windsor Park, looking to win the competition for the first time since 1979, an even longer wait than Town fans have had to get back in the Premier League. I'm sure we'll wish Jim and Cliftonville all the best for Saturday. And finally, Ipswich.
No, we won't.
No, you are. Do you know? Because there's is there a sort of Rangers thing in this?
There is that. Linfield are red, white, and blue. So there we are. I'm backing Linfield. Sorry, Jim. I'll say that to you next week.
And finally, Ipswich tattooists will hopefully be doing a roaring trade next week as fans seek to mark the Blues' promotion to the Premier League in ink. Brett Johnson, one of the three Lions from the US wing of the ownership, who I understand will be over for the game, vowed 2 years ago to have a Town tattoo if the Blues reached the Premier League, as did CEO Mark Ashton on this very show just before Christmas. I posted a reminder to both of them on Twitter this morning, and from the response, it seems they'll not be the only ones. Friend of the show, Carl Fuller, columnist in the Anglian, said he plans similar, as does Tim Kenny, one of the regulars back when I used to do the Naked Football show a few years ago. So hopefully we'll see the evidence from them all over the next few weeks.
Okay.
What a good idea.
Yeah.
You inked up, either of you two?
Not that good, no.
Nope.
No, definitely not.
No, you?
No. Well, no.
Well, you had to think about it. Come on, you either are.
I've got a tattoo, but it's kind of an internal tattoo from having operations some years ago.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, marked where something was removed.
Oh, right, okay.
Okay,
There you
moving
go.
on. Yeah,
That's
moving on.
interesting. So I have technically
know
got
about
a
that,
tattoo.
really.
Ain't nothing straightforward to you.
No,
is it?
no.
You having a tattoo, Mark?
No, I'm not. No. I don't like needles. It's time to take a look at what's happened to ITFC on this day in the past, brought to you in association with our friends at Fred Olsen Logistics.
Right, on this day, back in, 1975, and it was a Friday the 2nd of May, 1975. Funny day to have a game actually on a Friday, but it was a testimonial match. And Town beat a Don Revy 11 5-3 in a testimonial match for Colin Harper, watched by 15,174 spectators. Ipswich-born Harper was a solid left-back who joined Port Vale as a player coach after 180 games. Also on this day, Saturday the 2nd of May 1992, John Lyle's men paraded the Division 2 trophy and consigned Brighton and Hove Albion to the job with a 3-1 win before 26,803 fans. Steve Whitten scored 2 and Gavin Johnson scored again.
Did he cry afterwards?
He didn't cry afterwards, but he netted amidst a carnival atmosphere in Suffolk, which we might see again this weekend.
Premier League, that's where they came. That's where they went, didn't they?
It was a brilliant day, I have to say. It was the last day of standing at Portman Road. I remember standing there chatting to this bloke called Dave that I've known, and we scored a goal, and I've not seen him since. He went flying over my shoulder as he had these big surges, and I honestly don't think I've seen him to this day. And it was
Well, if you're watching now, Dave, do get
hello.
in touch.
And and then
I think people would do a lot to get away from you, Phil.
yeah, that's probably right. And everyone on the pitch at the end. Big son of John Lyle speaking on the.
Can I just mention that because there's bound to be a pitch invasion, okay? And the club will say, please don't go on the pitch, okay? The person that's got to say that is guess who?
Will you be on the pitch saying it?
No, I'll be up in the booth out the way, so I can't be caught. I think.
So therefore, there will be a pitch invasion if you're going to say it. Don't go on.
Well, I suspect there will be anyway. But I think poor old Foz got a lot of stick last year, saying "Get off the pitch, get off the pitch." But he's only reading out what's put in front of him. So please don't judge me.
Don't shoot the messenger.
Don't judge me.
But what are you going to do if they do come on the pitch? Are you
Oh,
gonna
nothing. Just
nothing.
let them run around a bit and then say.
Are you going to go on as well?
Well, probably.
Oh, good.
Yeah. I've got my briefing before the match, but I suspect I'll be the one that says, "Can you get off the pitch, please?" So the players can do their parade with the kids and all that kind of stuff with their family. Well, life's a pitch invasion. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
But I mean, that was going back to '92. That was the last time, of course, we won automatic promotion, wasn't it? And
Yep.
so yeah, I think, and there's a whole generation. We talked to sort of people who are in their early 20s, don't even remember us being in the Premier League, let alone us winning promotion. So it's been a long wait, as if we're to confirm it on Saturday. Well, we're all talking a bit as if we're already there, aren't we? But obviously it's got to be done.
We are.
But we're all but yeah.
We are there.
Yeah.
Let's
Don't
bring in
worry,
Paul. Let's bring in Paul again. Who's been the? He's not. Have we lost him? Oh, he's disappeared. We'll try and get him back in a moment, if we possibly can. But we're right to be cautious because there is still a job to do, isn't there? But they'll be very professional about it, won't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think Coops is back now.
Just toilet break.
Yeah, that's all right. Don't worry.
You get bored.
And you were very keen to stress that
Topped up.
there is still a job to do. But I mean, my goodness me, it's the stuff of dreams,
Great
isn't
position. Great position to be in, but let's celebrate after it, not before it.
We're going to have a big crowd again, welcoming the coach, I believe, Blue Action.
Yeah, Blue
organising
Action.
that.
11 o'clock, I think it is, isn't it? At the at Sir Ralph Ramsey Way for the
Delia's not coming, is she?
the coach work. Yeah, yeah. It wouldn't be a surprise, would it?
Yeah.
Do they have a celebrity owner, Huddersfield? No, I don't think they do. But yeah, it's how would you have fancied that as players when you sort of turn up to the stadium, all the fans there with flares and all this kind of stuff?
No, I just prefer the celebrations afterwards. Just get the job done first.
In our day, the flares were there, but they were trousers and not actually rockets. Yeah.
I mean, presumably, you used to get that kind of thing on the continent, didn't you? Rather than sort of here, it's sort of in Italy and whatever. Used to
Germany and all that. Yeah. Yeah. No,
It's
in
it
a way,
worked last time,
in
didn't
a
it?
way, it's a bit of a distraction. I think they just, you have the flares and you have all this and all that sort of thing. All you want to do is get in that dressing room, get yourself prepared mentally and physically, and get out there and do the business. That's all you want. You don't want things to disturb you a little bit. I mean, I think it's great, and then the fans cheer and clap and all that sort of thing. That's fine, but don't go over the top because there is a job to do, and the players need to be really focused.
Is it harder to keep concentrated on the game itself when it's a game with so much riding on it?
Is it harder?
Mm.
No, it's just another game, really. You just approach it the same way. You have to. You can't do any different. I mean, did Coops? Did you do anything different when we got to the final and things like this? No, he didn't.
No.
Obviously, yeah. There we are.
No, he just it was another game, another the pitch is the same size, the goals are the same size, the ball's the same, whatever, wherever you are, and just get on with it and give it your best.
What do you put the sort of consequence of the game out of your minds, or is it something?
Yeah.
Just,
Yeah.
Yeah,
You go on the pitch
it's-
before the game and you're just walking around looking at the surface, you know what studs you're going to wear, you're having a chat with them, larking about or something like that. And I said it before, it's just another game of football with your mates.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean,
you all want to win, but you want to win every
if,
game.
if we were at home at Portman Road sort of thing, I would go into the boot room and just smash the boot boy up because Richard used to be a boot boy. Used to be the mascot. So the ball boy. So we used to go and beat them up. That helped us enormously. Yeah, it was good.
not sure you can do that these days. I don't know.
No, probably not. No, but it was great then.
Well, it worked for you, didn't it? Yeah. And Richard's still here to live and tell the tale.
It's
and do our
made
text
Richard the
every
man
week.
he is today.
Yeah, I know.
Just about. There he is, limping along.
Character building. Character.
And Coops, it's been great to have you on the show. Do you bump into town fans over there?
Occasional one or two, but you see more. You probably see more now that hopefully they'll have the shirts on now and to get the result. But yeah, it's great. Good for Ipswich. Good for Suffolk, and let's hope it all goes well.
Fantastic. Well, look, it's been great to have you on the show today. Paul Cooper, everybody.
Cheers, Coop.
See you.
See you, mate.
See you two next month.
I'll see you on
Coops, just before you go, sorry, Russ. His total for Ipswich Town is 575 appearances over 14 seasons. That's an average of 41 games a year. He's been an incredible servant. And he also has 715 appearances for his total career over 20 years. What a player. What a legend. Really is
Absolutely.
a top man.
Brilliant, Coop.
Thank you.
Super Cooper, that's what they called him.
Super Cooper, yeah.
Super Cooper, and with those stats, it was really worth it. Well done. Thank you, Paul, very much indeed.
Thank you.
We're done
Have a
pretty
good
much
night.
for today.
Cheers,
Don't forget, tickets available for our end-of-season dinner coming up on the 13th of May. www.lifespitch.tv for more details. Book your tickets for that. Phil, do you want to?
No, I'll put a link on. I'll put a story on TWTD for this show, and people can see on there what the link to the buy tickets to the dinner as well there.
Excellent. That should be with Alan Brazil, thankfully. Fingers crossed. And lots of other special guests. We are done. We're out of time. No Man v Fat this week. But thank you, boys, very much. Thank you, top team. Give our legends a round of applause, everybody.
Thank you.
And a quick run through of our sponsors who have done a fantastic job of keeping us going this season. Our main sponsor is DPS Tech, also supported by All About Hearing, marketing company Ginger Pickle, Forward Floors, Come Hither Design, the Hudson Group, Sound4 Pro Audio, Fred Olsen Logistics, John Keeble Cars in Bramford, the Dove in St Helens Street, Ipswich, and Ashford Wright. And the sofa is sponsored by DPS Tech. Thanks very much for watching and listening. We'll be back next week, hopefully, fingers crossed, all being well, in the Premier League, everybody.